I'd like to welcome everybody to a new series I'm doing called A Room for Improvement. Just for those of you who don't know me, my name is Adam Marelli. I'm a working artist and photographer based here in New York City. And what I wanted to do was bring people from outside of New York into the studio so that we can look at some of the practices that I've applied in my work over the years and translate them specifically with photographers in mind. So I started in art adult classes probably a little over 20 years ago, and I was educated in university as a sculptor and a photographer. So I got sort of a two-part education, and I found that there were a number of holes missing in the photo education that I'd like to fill in here. Over the course of the last few years, people have asked me to write composition books, books on design for photography, and to me it didn't seem like the right format. I think that video is a much better format because when I think about the way that I learned art, it was from someone. It was through an oral tradition. I definitely read a lot as I worked my way through, but really the bulk of what you learn comes through somebody, and the books act as supporting evidence, more or less, for the process. So the way that I'd like to introduce this is that I believe that anybody can become a good photographer. Whether you will become a world-famous photographer and take the preeminent photo of the 21st century, this is not my concern. But you can become a very, very good photographer. And the thing that separates a lot of photographers from aspiring photographers has to do with training. And I've seen this firsthand in school programs. And in a way, if you think about it for a second, it makes a little bit of sense. Painting, sculpture, drawing, these are very old traditions. They've been educating people in these traditions for thousands of years. You couldn't have gotten a photography education 100 years ago. Photo education is relatively new, and universities are slow-moving monsters, and it's why they haven't fully adapted themselves, I believe, to giving all the information that photographers need, and that's information that they should have around the idea of seeing. And a lot of the concepts that I'm integrating here, you won't find in other places. They're not in other composition books. They're not in other videos. And believe me, I scoured the internet looking for this stuff myself. I've been through libraries. Most of the stuff that's of any use is actually written or designed for artists, for painters, or for draftsmen. Because I would like you to be able to succeed at a level in which you feel gratified with your practice. One example that I like to give in workshops is when we're all born, right? When we're babies. Nobody, no matter how beautiful or talented or amazing their parents say they are, there is not a baby on the planet that is born able to walk. We have to learn to walk, just as we have to learn to become photographers. The difference is that any baby born with two legs is expected to walk. They are expected to succeed. And they're expected because they have the equipment, whether you have a camera or you have legs. If you have the equipment and you have the desire, you should be able to succeed. For some reason, this doesn't apply in photography. And my test for it is, if you're a student, go tell a guidance counselor. If you're married, go ask your husband or wife. Go tell somebody that you want to become a photographer. And you can just watch their eyes roll back into their head. Because success is not something that is typically associated with the arts, particularly not with photography. It's usually something that people assume you will be, if you're any good, you won't be famous or wealthy until you're dead, at which point it's of no value to you. I think this is totally untrue, and we're going to go through this program and you'll see that there are a lot of things that you will be able to apply, and you will be able to put it to either professional work, application to school, whatever capacity you envision your images working their way into. I believe it's possible. I wouldn't be here doing this if I didn't think we could do it. So what you should hope to get out of the program is, first, when you walk into a museum, to a gallery, pick up a magazine, look at any image, you will learn how to determine whether that is a good image, a bad image, or a mediocre image. And what you will find most is that most of them are just mediocre. The world is not filled with amazing images, and they're not colossally bad. Usually they're just somewhere in the middle. They're just kind of average. But you'd like to be able to understand how a picture works, why a picture works, why someone's images and series are successful versus someone else whose images are not successful. And we're going to look at this through famous artists, some of my favorite artists who've been influential to me in my development. I'm going to share with you the lessons that I've absorbed from them and put them into a language that's specific for photographers. We will also look at some of my photography projects so that you can see how I'm taking these lessons and applying them to the work that I've done in the past, to the work that I'm doing right now, and to some of the projects that I'll be doing in the future. And that's really, to me, it's the most exciting thing because it will allow you to pick up a level of authorship and some sense of what you want to do and be able to translate that energy, whether you call it your creativity or your passion or your desire. To me, it doesn't matter what name you put to it. The point is, the way in which the artistic tradition has worked has been for artists to train other artists so that the whole tradition can continue and blossom out. So that's what the program was designed for. That's really the way in which we're going to go about it. So I want to welcome you guys again to A Room for Improvement. I think it's going to be a really exciting series, and it'll be a totally unique experience that won't only transform your photography, but will really change the way you see the world around you. Thank you.